Okay, sup guys. I'll be doing a review upon this week, all trades I took and the whole process about them, right? I'll be doing that in this video. So, um, acting upon the last week, the video I did on, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, of the whole narrative stuff. So when I'm reaching to this week, I'm looking upon that and trying to act of the bus I formulated within the weekend, right? And when this happens, I'm only trying to take trades within that very direction, right? So for example, this week I was bullish. I'm only looking upon trades that are supporting bullish. That is the basic, very simple way to cut out the losses, most of the losses, right? Trying to align yourself with the high time frame. And when I looked into my data, I came to understand like most of the losses I took, it was when I was bullish and I was taking bearish trades. That was the most of my losses mostly. So for that, and also looking, and also from the perspective, I also last time forgot about talking about the economic calendar, right? I totally forgot about that. So coming to this week, what do we have, right? What do we have? So last week we had this low, and we had this high, right? We are in a bullish trend, right? We are in a bullish trend, and you can see this closure right here, right? So with this closure, I'm anticipating that price won't be returning to this low. All right, I'm seeing this low as a protected low right now, right? So we opened up, went higher. I'm looking upon this as a consolidation so that we can continue higher, right? So what do we have? We have this low. Last week swept out this low and respected. So what I'm anticipating for the next week is bullish price action with the price respecting the 50% of this week, right? And looking upon the economic calendar with this narrative I already have, it is a CPI week, right? It is a CPI week. So I'm also considering this CPI stuff, but it doesn't mean that I'll be putting down my narrative, right? If we are to go bullish, I want this 50% to hold price to go higher, right? And for the CPI, I don't want to predict CPI, but I also don't like CPI if I won't like CPI if it goes to this low. I'll see it as an invalidation. So I want CPI to stay within the 50% of this week, right? So with this, the only thing left it will be the weekly profile to support, right? Remember, we are having CPI on Thursday. So if I am to trade, I'll be trading either Monday or Tuesday. I'm trying my best to stay out on Wednesday and Thursday before the CPI, right? I can act after CPI, but I'm trying my best to stay out before CPI. So that's where my first trade came in on Geo, right? Because when I'm looking for bullish PA, I want price to open up. Sorry, my bad. I want price to open up, go lower, then higher, right? That's all I'm looking upon, right? Open up, open up, lower, then higher. And when I mark out the weekly I'm just looking upon how price react, right? So I want price to go below the weekly open, create some form of manipulation so that we can go higher. And then when you go to the daily, what do we have on the daily? So last week we manipulated this low and then respected. Opening up Monday, I'm anticipating that price shouldn't return to this low, right? Depending upon the range and how it closed on Friday, I'm trying my best not to participate on Monday, though I know when we are having CPI on Thursday, Monday can be high probability and Tuesday. But depending upon how we closed and this range, I'm trying not to act because we might consolidate on Monday to form this fair value gap so that Tuesday or Wednesday can come back into the fair value gap so that we can go higher, right? So letting Monday go, I'm looking to trade Tuesday if I am to trade before CPI, right? I'm looking upon Tuesday to see how Tuesday reacts. But in any case, the only trade I'm taking it's bullish because we are having a bullish week, right? And going down to the lower time frames, which is the H4, to formulate if I am to have any trade on Tuesday, right? I want an H4 or H1 string to confirm plus a confirmation, right? And that's when I go to the H4, right? So what do we have on Monday? Monday we opened up, went into this fair value gap, then we closed with this, right? H4 change structure before after coming out of this fair value gap, right? So what I'm anticipating is price won't be reaching back to this low before reaching out for this high. That's what I'm thinking, right? So right now I'm thinking as a this low as a protected low. So if I'm having already a protected low, I'm looking for Tuesday to be just a continuation to the buys, right? But when we look on Tuesday, what happened? If I'm looking for bullish price action, I want Tuesday to open up lower, then we go higher, right? This is our daily open on Tuesday. This is our daily open on Tuesday. So I want Tuesday to open up lower, then we go higher. I was looking upon even this low, right? Looking upon this low to see if price before going this high can can use this low, right? Can use this low. But what happened? We opened up just when first went higher. This is invalidating my whole thought process. So with this and a bullish week, I'm not acting, right? I'm not acting, right? Because I am already bullish and we are having this signature, right? This doesn't support this. With this it doesn't support bullish price action, so I'm letting this day go. So I was bullish, this formulated a bearish price move with my bullish with my bullish anticipations. I am not acting on Tuesday, and that was one of my like high probability days before we reach out for CPI. So before on Tuesday, after Tuesday, I am not acting till Thursday after CPI, right? That is the whole idea. But my bullish PA hasn't been invalidated because we didn't reach out for this high, where I'm anticipating for where I'm anticipating price to react if we are to go lower, or we didn't have any kind of SMT. So I'm still looking upon bullish price action. And what did we have on Wednesday? On Wednesday, we created this range, right? Right? We formed this range, right? We have this range, So all I'm anticipating is to price manipulate this range so that we can go higher, right? That leaves us with only able to trade Thursday and Friday. Thursday after CPI, right? And Friday, right? Eh, this is our weekly open. So when we go down to the lower time frame, which is the H1, right? H1, this is what we are having, right? So if we are to go bullish, right? We manipulated this low and we didn't go higher, right? We didn't go higher. So if we are to go higher, where can we go high from? We still have this low, right? We have this low, but I'm anticipating that this low is a protected low, right? I'm anticipating that this is a protected low, and price shouldn't return to this. So what can we use? We have this low, right? We can act upon this low. So I'm marking out this low. It is the only level left for us to reverse from. If we don't reverse off this low, then we are bullish, right? And we are looking for bullish PA. So this CPI is 830, so this is the CPI candle, right? Going down to the lower time frames on the 15-minute. So what on the H5 or H15, what do we have? CPI can manipulate this low, right? We manipulated this low and we formed this protected low, right? We manipulated and we respected. So I'm looking upon continuation trades to this high, right? I'm looking upon continuation trades to the high because we have confirmed it that we are bullish, right? I'm looking upon this high as my next target. So but depending upon how price is fast, I'm looking for an entry within this area as a continuation to the high, because I can't put my stop loss here. It won't be giving out a 1 to 2. So I'm looking for an entry within this what within this area to get a continuation trade. And we can't take any trade without an SMT. So that's why I go to the 5 minutes, because price is pretty fast. If I'm waiting for 15 minutes structure, I might be left out because it's a CPI day, right? So what happens on the H5? We have this SMT right here, hidden SMT, right? The only time I use the hidden, it is because of the only thing why I use the hidden, it is because of this CPI stuff, right? Because this week it's a manipulation, but I can act upon this because it's a CPI week, right? And when weekly cycle SMT, right? We have this 90-minute cycle SMT. I would say hidden SMT before the CPI. So this is the CPI candle. I'm looking for continuation from this, right? So with the closure right here, I'm anticipating that this is a protected low and price shouldn't return back to the body of this low, right? So here's where I took my entry, right? From here, then targeting 1 to 2, right? 1 to 2, right? From to the body and targeting 1 to 2. Yeah, that's it, right? So that is trade 1 on GU, right? Remember, I always target 1 to 2, right? I would say that I would have targeted this high, but I always target 1 to 2. And on the same day, I took another trade on ES, right? Right, let's go to ES and look upon also the thought process. On ES, what do we have for the week, right? What do we have for the week? We have this low, right? We have this low. But NQ manipulated this low, forming an SMT, right? Forming an SMT between this low and this low. So I'm seeing this low as a protected low, and we can go higher from here, right? So same stuff. I'm also looking for trades from Monday to Tuesday, right? Or Thursday to Friday. So when we go down to the daily time frame, we have this low, right? I'm anticipating price not to return to this low. So we haven't got a closure above this, but with this I can anticipate that we are going higher. So what happens is we have this candle low, right? We have this candle low, which is respected. Price starts to go higher on Friday. We close up a week going higher. So opening up a new week, I'm pretty bullish, right? Opening up a week, I'm pretty bullish, as we talked about in the last video, the weekly outlook video. So I'm pretty bullish, but if I am to act, it should be either Monday, Tuesday, or Friday and Thursday, right? So that's the whole idea. And when we go down to the lower time frame, which is the H4 to start up with, what do we have on the H4? So on Friday we have this range. We swept out this and we are respecting this. So I'm looking upon price to go higher, right? To go higher. So the only possibility was one, the trade on Tuesday, right? This trade right here, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. candle trade, right? But we had no SMT to confirm this trade, right? And you know me, like without an SMT, I aren't trading anything, however good it looks. Without an SMT, I aren't trading anything. So on Tuesday, failed to take this trade because of an SMT, and on Wednesday it was a consolidate. It was like price was just returning back into this fair value gap, so forming a range for the next day, Thursday, to have a trade, right? So that leaves me for Thursday. I'm looking for Thursday. Thursday we open up. We have CPI on this day, so I'm looking upon where we can act from, right? We have this low and we have this low, right? But this low returned into the fair value gap, so I'm expecting price known to come back to this fair value gap, to this low. I'm looking at this low and this low to be manipulated so that we can take trades higher. And that's when I go to the H1 to confirm my narrative, right? And a swing point, right? So what do we have here, right? What do we have here? 8:30 a on H1 we formed this swing, right? We manipulated this low, formed a daily cycle SMT with the YM, and then respected, right? I'm looking upon this as a protected low. From now I know that this low won't be reached upon, right? Again, looking upon this low not be reached upon. So I'm looking for a continuation trade, right? I'm looking for a continuation trade. So that's when, due to CPI stuff, that's when I go to the 5 minutes, right, to look for a continuation. I'm looking for a trade, to take a trade within this week, to take the continuation, right? So on H5, what do we have? We reached into this low. This was CPI, reached into this low. So we are going higher. We formed this change in structure, right? We formed this change in structure. But I can't put my stop loss here because I won't be getting a 1 to 2, right? So I'm looking for a continuation trade. And if we can't get a continuation trade, where can we get that from? From this low, if we manipulate this low, right? If we manipulate this low. And from this NQ manipulated, forming an SMT, right? NQ manipulated, forming an SMT with ES, and with that I can trust that this high, this low, it is now protected, right? This low is now what? From this, I'm anticipating that this low is now protected. That's why I took my trade, targeting 1 to 2, right? Targeting 1 to 2, right? Yeah, yeah, targeting just 1 to 2. Remember, it's always 1 to 2, right? Those are the two trades I took on Thursday. And going to the last trade, which was on NQ Friday, right? NQ Friday. Let's go to NQ. So with the whole idea on indices, right? ES, the reason why I didn't take ES on Friday, it was ES reached out for the highs and stuff, right? So NQ is like the lagging asset. We closed the very bullish, but we left out this high, right? So on Friday, I'm looking to trade to this high, right? I'm trading to this high. So when we go down to the lower time frames, I'm just looking for this profile, the daily profile, to support my narrative, right? So when I go to the H4, what do we have on the H4? So we opened up, this is our daily open. We opened up, created this low, we manipulated the low, the 2 a.m. candle manipulated this low, and the 6 a.m. closed above this, right? So I'm looking for a trade within this candle, right? A trade within this candle to take a continuation trade, right? So, and you guys can see, like, every single trade of mine is just a continuation. Just drop the reversal sheet and just act upon a continuation. So 6 a.m. we formed this, right? From this. So I'm looking to trade within the 10 a.m. candle, right? That's when I go to the 15 minutes time frame. Let's first go to the H1. On H1, what do we have? So we swept out these lows, right? From the daily cycle SMT with YM, right? We form the daily cycle SMT with YM. So I'm looking upon this low to stay, right? And this low to stay, right? This was my first low, protected low. So I'm already anticipating an SMT with this, because we have a protected low right here where I'm not expecting price to return back upon. So with this SMT, now this low is protected, and I'm looking for a continuation trade within the 10 a.m. candle, right? That's when I go to the lower time frame. And when I'm looking for a continuation within an H1 candle, I'm looking for a 5-minute what structure, right? So because I want a 5-minute open, low, high, close, right? So that's when I go to the 5 minutes. So what do we have on H5? H5, we formed this fair value gap. We dipped into this, we swept out this liquidity right here, right? We have this change right here, we have this change. So I am trading from here, right? Taking a trade because as soon as you cross below this, above this, I'm looking for a trade. We have this gap here, right here. So I'm anticipating price to return back into this gap, but I'm also anticipating price not to reach out for this low, right? So after crossing above here, that's when I took my trade, right? And that's it. Looking for 1 to 2, right? Looking for 1 to 2. The only time you would be taking like a trade or an trades when your RR is confirmed. Without that, even if how the trade grid it looks, you aren't anticipating. You must have those kind of rules. So for me, if I don't have a swing point, an SMT, or the RR is not enough, I aren't trading, right? I aren't trading anything. So with that, that caps off my whole week, right? My whole week, and that's it was a great week so far. Not so far because it's already done. It was a great week. So upon that, I sign out.